Right now, somewhere over your head, there is a machine the size of a building. It is made of metal, packed with hundreds of people and their suitcases. It weighs about as much as 400 elephants, and it is sitting perfectly calmly on top of nothing at all but air. 400 tons of aluminum, just floating. And if you ever asked a grown-up how that is possible, you probably got a neat little story, the one with a curved wing and tidy arrows that they draw on the classroom whiteboard. Well, I have news about that story. It is wrong. Not simplified, not close enough, but actually genuinely wrong. And the real reason a plane stays up is simpler and stranger. And once you truly see it, you will feel it in your own seat every time you take off. So stay with me. I'm Mr. Why? And let's start with the story you were probably taught, because it is worth knowing exactly what is broken about it. A wing is curved and humped on top and flatter underneath. So when the air arriving at the front splits in two, the air going over the curved top has a longer path than the air slipping along the flat bottom. And the story says, those two streams have to meet up again at the back edge at exactly the same moment. So the top air, with farther to go, has to hurry up and move faster, and faster moving air has lower pressure, which is a real rule with a real name, Bernoulli's principle. So the pressure on top drops, the higher pressure underneath pushes up, and the wing gets sucked into the sky. It sounds clever, and people repeat it constantly. But here are the two holes in that story, and they are big enough to fly a plane through. The first. Who told the top air and the bottom air that they have to meet at the back at the same time? Nobody did. There is no law in nature that says the air splitting over a wing has to hold hands again at the back edge. The story just made it up so the numbers would work out. And when scientists actually go and measure it, the air going over the top does not arrive late, puffing to catch up. It arrives at the back edge early, sooner than the air underneath. So the whole reason the story gives for the wing working is something that does not even happen. And here is the second hole, which is my favorite. If a wing only flew because of that special curved on top shape, then a plane could never ever fly upside down. Flip it over, and the curve is now on the wrong side, so the wing should be sucked straight down into the ground. But planes fly upside down all the time. Every air show, every stunt pilot looping and rolling and cruising along happily with their wheels pointing at the sky. So the shape simply cannot be the secret. So what is the secret? Here is the whole thing. One big idea. Over 300 years old. A wing flies by throwing air downward. A wing takes the huge amount of air rushing at it and flings that air down toward the ground. And there is a law, Newton's third law, that says every push comes with an equal push back the other way. If you push air down, the air pushes you up by exactly the same amount. So, a wing is really just a machine for shoving an enormous mass of air downward every second, and the sky shoves right back up, and that upward shove holds the plane in the air. And a wing does this in two ways at once. The first is easy to picture. A wing is tilted, just a little, nose up into the oncoming air. So the air rushing at it strikes that tilted underside and gets knocked downward. That tilt has a name, the angle of attack, and it does a lot of the work. The second way is sneakier. That curved top we talked about is not useless, it just does not do what the myth claimed. The air flowing over the top actually bends downward and hugs the curve of the wing, following it around and getting flung off the back edge, heading down too. So both the tilted bottom and the curved top do the very same job, grabbing air and hurling it toward the ground. More air thrown down means more push back up. And you do not have to take my word for any of this, because you have almost certainly felt it yourself. Next time you are riding in a car on the highway in the passenger seat, roll the window down and carefully hold your flat hand out into the rushing air, fingers together, palm down, safe and close to the car. Hold it flat and level, and it just slices cleanly along. Now slowly tilt the front edge of your hand up, just a little. Feel that? Your hand leaps upward, shoved hard by the wind, dragging your whole arm up with it. You did not change your hand's shape or carve any curve into it. You simply tilted it so it throws the oncoming air downward, and the air threw your hand up. Tilt it a bit more, and the lift gets stronger. Tilt it way too far, and the smooth airflow breaks up into a mess, and it suddenly stops working and shudders, and pilots have a word for that too, a stall. But right there, out the car window, is a wing. Your hand is a wing. You just made lift, and it worked for the exact same reason a giant jet works. Now let me be honest with you, because I promised the real answer, not just a new slogan. Bernoulli, the fellow from the classroom story, is not the villain. The pressure on top of a real wing genuinely is lower, and that low pressure really is part of how lift happens. The thing that was wrong was never the low pressure. It was the reason the story gave for it, that silly rule about the air meeting up at the back. So here is the honest, grown-up summary. The wing pushes a mass of air downward, the air pushes the wing up, and the pressure differences around the wing are simply how that push shows itself. Two ways of describing the exact same event, not two different causes. And once you see that, the plane makes sense. Go faster, and your wing meets more air every second, throws more air down, and gets more lift. A bigger wing sweeps up more air, same thing. Tilt it up more, and it knocks more air downward. That is why a plane has to charge down a long runway to build up speed, and why it points its nose up the moment it wants to leave the ground. It is all the same move. Move more air downward. So here is what I really want you to carry onto your next flight. When the engines roar and the plane surges forward and presses you back into your seat, and the ground drops away below the window, think about what is actually holding you up there. It is not magic. And it is not a clever curve. Underneath those wings, right at that moment, tons of air are being flung toward the ground every single second, thousands upon thousands of pounds of it, a constant downward punch at the whole planet. And the Earth, through all that air, punches back up, and that invisible upward shove is carrying you and everyone around you. The entire weight of that enormous machine is held up by nothing more than air, thrown downward over and over faster than you can think. A plane stays in the sky by constantly pushing the sky down. So, the next time someone tells you a plane flies, because the top of the wing is a little longer than the bottom, you can gently hand them the real secret. A wing flies by throwing air down, and the air throws it right back up. And that's why 400 tons of metal can rest so calmly on nothing at all. Now, I would love to know, down in the comments, what were you taught was the reason planes fly? Did you get the curved wing whiteboard story too? And had you ever heard before today that a plane can fly perfectly happily upside down? Come and tell me. And if you enjoy having the ordinary things around you quietly taken apart until they finally make sense, subscribe and stay for more simple lessons from Mr. Pribe. Why?